We interrupt your regularly scheduled program to bring you a rant on the Wheel of Time TV series. I watched it recently and I've been waiting 25 years for this show, and I was cautiously pessimistic about it, and it turns out that it exceeded all my low expectations into the depths of who knows what. Absolutely one of the stupidest shows I've ever seen. It was unrecognizable almost as the Wheel of Time. They This does contain spoilers for those of you who haven't seen it, but I'm hoping you won't watch it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And the things that were spoilers, as in terms of the plot, if you can call it that, would also be doubly uh, spoiled because it's things that spoiled the show. Now, it comes on, and right from the beginning, it's how much PG-13 sex and violence can we work into this? And because they didn't want to go too overboard, they didn't want to go full Game of Thrones, but they wanted to get as much of it in there as possible, which just really wasn't the spirit of the original books. Uh, Absolutely, the plot made no sense. You couldn't tell who any of the characters were. Everybody, even if they just say, hey, Rand, or Perrin, this is such and such, or, something to give you a hint as to who these people were. If I hadn't read the books, I wouldn't have known anybody in the show. I would have had no idea what anybody's name was. I would have had no idea what was going on, which I read the books and I still am not quite sure what went on in that first episode. Another bold choice they made was to not go with actors. Instead, they went with models from perfume ads and Old Navy commercials. I kept waiting for a narrator to break in and say, "White Tower, the new scent from Target." It just was just terrible. The actors were horrible. They were all wooden and just absolutely. I just don't even have the words. And nobody was right for any of the characters. Like I said, the plot was non-existent. You have Moiraine Sedai show up in Two Rivers, where for some reason every single person is of a different nationality. I understand the need to be inclusive and to have different nationalities involved, but when every single person is a different nationality in Backwoods Two Rivers, that just looks like, okay, we did this just to do it and show how awesome we are, which is just over the top. Uh, there could have been a better way to handle that, but also just things in the plot, like Matt Cawthon had two sisters that he wanted more than anything to protect from his incompetent, drunken parents. And then at the end, when Moiraine Sedai tells them that, okay, you all have to come with me, they're just like, okay. They don't trust her. They spend the whole episode saying they don't trust her. They don't trust people from the White Tower. They don't trust anything that she has going on. They think that she brought the Trollocs attack the Two Rivers, and the Trollocs look and act like villains from the Power Rangers in the mid 90s. They're like, and just jumping around and being foolish, and weren't really scary at all. Uh, it just was so bad. It was so bad. And Rand, you couldn't, if you could even tell that's who it was, didn't really seem to have much going on with him. Again, that was just due to poor acting, I think. But there just wasn't anything happening in there. They spend the whole time distrusting Moraine. Yes, she fights and uses the one power, and yeah, they use a lot of special effects and stuff, but it doesn't matter because the whole thing is just so stupid. It looks like they led them there, which they probably did, the Trollocs, and everything that happens just happens because it's necessary to the plot. What little of it there is. Nothing makes sense. Perrin is married, and then he accidentally kills his own wife while he's fighting off Trollocs? Are you serious? That's just stupid. What in the world were these people thinking? It's like they took pieces of paper, handed them to monkeys, had the monkeys wipe their butts with them, and said, hey, here's the script. Film this. Because that's what it was like. It was monkey crap on screen. And I can't say enough bad things about this show. It made me so angry. So angry. And nothing went right. And at the end, Moraine Sedai tells them, the four of them, Perrin, Matt, Rand, and Egwene, you have to come with me. And they're like, okay. There's no question about it. Robert Jordan spends the first book, The Eye of the World, building up these characters and who they are. And the people making the TV show just said, well, we don't need any of that crap. We know better. We'll just do it our way, and we'll make the whole thing Moraine Sedai fighting the Trollocs and people getting killed and the whole town going down in flames. And that'll be our whole first episode. That's the main point. Why? You've had all this time and all this money to make it. Why make it so bad? It just doesn't make any sense. And again, at the end, they're just like, okay, we'll go with you. Why would they? They had no reason to trust her. She just destroyed their town. It's because the plot necessitated it. Just like everything else that happened in it. It's like, well, we're not really paying any attention to who we are, but if we have to do something for the plot, then we'll do something for the plot. And all the little scenes in between the characters didn't work. Part of it was the acting. Part of it was the fact that the script was so terrible and that the moments they picked were not moments that really were necessary. The whole point of this is this TV show, Wheel of Time, if you can call it that, it's disrespectful to Robert Jordan. It's disrespectful to the books themselves. It's disrespectful to the fans. And it's disrespectful to discerning TV viewers. It insults your intelligence and really just says, hey, we think you'll just show up for the sex and violence, and even though it's at a PG-13 level, which really isn't that much, most of it's just implied, but there was quite a lot of violence in it, but it was just, it's insulting. And I absolutely had to get it off my chest. And I figured this was the format to do it in. So thanks for listening. I hope you don't watch the show. If you have watched the show, I'm sorry. You can't get that time back. I can't either. I hope that if you see this, that you will not watch the show. Do not support it. I'm really disappointed in Amazon because they've done some really good shows. I liked Mozart in the Jungle. I liked The Tick. I thought that was done exceptionally well. I really like The Boys. They adapted that very well and made it a good show. So I really had some hopes for this, but after the commercials I saw, I just, like I said, had low expectations, and they plumbed the depths of those and made it just terrible. So don't watch it, don't support it. Hopefully they won't make another season, and just let it go. Maybe wait for some other time when somebody who knows what they're doing can make it. Anyway, thanks for listening to my rant. Happy Thanksgiving. And I will see you guys. I'm also putting up my regularly scheduled program too. So this was just a little extra thing I had to get off my chest. Figured you might want to hear it. Know there's probably a lot of Wheel of Time fans out there. Don't waste your time with this. Happy Thanksgiving. Hope to see you next week.